So weekend 7 of the Premier League, things starting to become a bit more predictable, maybe. Hello, my name is Richard. Welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, which features everything to do with Arsenal. In this video, I just really wanted to look at weekend 7 of the Premier League, my weekly Premier League roundup. Just before I get into all that, I just want to make sure that you are subscribing to my channel. If you like what I do, please click the subscribe button. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up as well, as it really does help it to grow. And if you've got any comments at all about the Premier League weekend or anything to do with recent football or Arsenal, of course, please drop in the comments box as well, because it is nice to hear from you guys as well. So the Premier League then, weekend 7, is it becoming a little bit more predictable now, settling down? Of course, after the first few weeks where there was a lot of shock results, a lot of high scoring games, maybe to do with a short pre-season, but now it is settling down again, and we seem to be getting more predictable results. Liverpool, of course, the champions, have gone back to the top of the table as well, quite ominously for the rest of the league. They're not even playing that well yet, are they? They were quite fortunate to beat West Ham on Saturday evening at Anfield. Once again, they went behind at home early on. This was a goal from 4-0 for West Ham. In actual fact, it was a mistake from Joe Gomez, a poor header, very overrated defender, I believe that he is. But Liverpool managed to turn it around. They were given a very soft penalty to get level. Mo Salah seemed to dive, actually, which is unusual, isn't it? But he took the penalty himself to make it 1-1. That's his 7th Premier League goal of the season so far. The second half was quite even, actually. Could have gone either way. West Ham had a few chances and they probably deserved something out of the game. But in the end, it was Diogo Jota who got the winning goal. He just had one ruled out, actually, after a foul on Mane on the West Ham goalkeeper, Lucas Fabianski. But soon afterwards, he got us another chance. Shaqiri set him up. It was a good finish. And Liverpool, once again, came from behind to win 2-1 at home. Although they're top of the league, they've won 5 of their 7 games. They've actually conceded the most goals in the Premier League with 15. But of course, 7 of those did come in that one game against Aston Villa. In second place, we've got the team that we don't really want to talk too much about. Of course, just up the road, Tottenham. Now, they were, again, quite fortunate, actually, to beat Brighton at home. Another fairly average performance from Tottenham, if we're honest. And they were given the boost of an early penalty, very, very fortunate penalty as well. Harry Kane did his usual trick, didn't he? Backing into the defender. And in the end, he falls over. This was right on the edge of the box, but VAR gave it as a penalty, which Harry Kane then scored. But fair play to Brighton. They played well again. It's surprising, really, because they're down 16th place in the league. They've only won 1 game, but they've actually been playing some great football, and they did so again here. They were maybe fortunate to get their equaliser in the second half. It was Lamptey scored his first goal, but of course there was that big foul, wasn't there, in the build-up? Højbjerg was fouled, but the referee Graham Scott had a bit of a nightmare, really. Even despite checking the screen on VAR, he still gave the goal, and it was 1-1. Of course, we didn't mind. Any goal against Tottenham's a good goal as far as we're concerned. It wasn't quite enough to deny Tottenham the win. And in the end, it was Gareth Bale, of course, had to score the winner, didn't he, with a header late in the game to give Tottenham a 2-1 win. And they are temporarily up to second place, although we're fairly certain that's not going to last very long. Everton, of course, are heading in the opposite direction now. They've lost 2 in a row now. On Sunday, they were beaten 2-1 up at St James's Park against Newcastle. Newcastle have had a decent enough start. They're looking fairly solid. And Callum Wilson, of course, is giving them goals. He got both the goals in this game. The first one from the penalty spot, and the second one when he turned home a cross from Ryan Fraser at the far post. Of course, those two combined really well for Bournemouth, didn't they, a couple of years ago? And they're combining again for Newcastle. Yeah, that made it 2-0. Right at the very end, Everton pulled a goal back. Calvert-Lewin, more fantasy points for me, of course, so I was quite happy with that. But it came too late to get Everton a result, and they've now, lost 2 in a row and dropped down to 3rd. But a team on the rise, really going well at the moment, is called Southampton. They're into the top 4. What a fantastic performance they gave away at Aston Villa. Although the score finished 4-3, really good game. Southampton were in control of this game for long periods, and they did lead 4-0. Vestergaard headed the first one from a free kick, and then it was James Ward-Prowse on his 26th birthday, took the headlines with 2 fantastic free kicks. He really should be playing more for England, shouldn't he? Very talented boy, and 2 goals for him on his birthday. And then Danny Ings, another of my fantasy strikers, popped up with a 4th goal in the second half. A lovely goal that was as well, cutting in from the left and curling it into the top corner to make it 4-0. Villa had a bit of a late rally, actually. Tyrone Mings pulled one back They then got a penalty in stoppage time, which Ollie Watkins scored before Jack Grealish made it 4-3 in the final seconds of stoppage time. Southampton were fully deserved their victory. Second defeat in a row for Aston Villa as well, and they've dropped down to 7th place now. Wolves, actually another team on the rise. They're up to 5th. Another solid season. They look as though they're having. They played on Friday night at home to Crystal Palace, and they won 2-0. Both the goals were actually in the first half. They came close together. It was Asnori got the first goal on his debut. A young left back for them scored, and then Podence scored the second goal soon afterwards. Crystal Palace maybe felt a bit of VAR didn't go their way. They were initially given a penalty for a foul on Van Aanholt in the area, but VAR ruled it out because he was slightly offside. And then later on, their captain Mihailovic was then sent off again on a VAR decision in a tackle quite similar to the one that saw Aubameyang sent off last season for us, oddly enough, against Crystal Palace. And Wolves ended up winning fairly comfortably in the end, 2-0 to move up to 5th place. The top 6 is made up of Chelsea now. They're on a good run of form, aren't they? 3-0 win against Burnley, of course, have got a lot of problems. Bottom of the table, only scored 3 goals. I mean, Chelsea did win this game quite easily, but it's 4 clean sheets in a row for them now. Of course, the defence was their problem last season and in the early games of this season, but they've turned that around. They've actually only conceded 9 in their 7 games, which is pretty good considering how poor they were defensively earlier in the season. I say this was a comfortable victory. Ziyech scored their first goal, his first goal for Chelsea in the Premier League on his first start as well. Kurt Zouma then headed the second, his 3rd goal of the season, looking dangerous from set pieces. I'm not sure if Premier League teams had 2 goal scorers with surnames beginning with Z, both scoring in the same match before. That would be something for the statisticians to look out for. And then Timo Werner scored the 3rd goal late on in the game to seal the victory. So Chelsea going well actually at the moment, looking a good bet, aren't they? Certainly for a place in the top 4, even possibly a title challenge. Hate to say it, but you never know. Of course, our game was next on Sunday. We've moved up to 9th place. Of course, that 1-0 victory at Old Trafford. I've covered the game a little bit earlier, but you can never hear too much about a victory at Old Trafford for us. Very rare. I say the first one since 2006. Our first away win at a traditionally top 6 club as well, for nearly 6 years as well. So a great performance from Arsenal. Still not firing on all cylinders going forward, but we have now got the best defensive record in the Premier League with only 7 goals conceded in 7 games, which is great. Shows the improvements that Arteta's made. And of course, we won it with that penalty from Aubameyang. Unusual for us to get a penalty at Old Trafford, and Man United to concede one, isn't it? So maybe things are changing in the Premier League after all. And the final game of the week really that I wanted to cover was Manchester City. They've moved up to 10th place. Still not firing on all cylinders, but they're going pretty well. They've only lost 1 of their 6 games so far. This wasn't a great performance. They won 1-0. It was a goal from Kyle Walker, actually, back on his hometown club, where, of course, he began his career. A good goal as well, a low shot from about 25 yards that arrowed into the bottom corner. Say Manchester City, they've now got 11 points, but they do have a game in hand on Liverpool, which if they were to win, they'd only be 2 points behind. So it's looking as though things are settling down to another Liverpool-Manchester City battle for the title. But I say Chelsea are still in there fighting. Everton have still got a chance to turn it around. I think they missed James Rodriguez this weekend, and of course Richarlison, who both didn't play. I'm sure they'll pick up more results. And of course ourselves, we're still in with a shout, aren't we? I think the result against Manchester United will give us a lot of belief to push on. Of course, there's 2 more games tonight, the highlight of which is Leicester against Leeds. 2 teams that have had good start to the season. Both will be fancying their chances of maybe certainly European football qualifying for next season. That should be a good game. Both play some good football. And the other game is West Brom against Fulham. Of course, 2 teams that came up from the Championship last season. Both will be battling to avoid going straight back down again. So that's that there in weekend 7 of the Premier League. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like my channel, please subscribe as well, because it all helps it to grow if you like what I'm doing. I say, if you've got any comments about the weekend, whether you think it's getting a bit more predictable now, and I say whether the excitement and the big scoring games are maybe a thing of the past and we're going to sit back into the normal kind of routine of it all, perhaps, or maybe this is just a little lull before the international break that's coming up, and then maybe we'll have another surge of excitement again in the run up to Christmas, but we'll see. So that's that there. I say thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. I've got a load of great stuff coming up this week. Of course, big Europa League week again. We're playing Molde, of course, on Thursday, so I'll be a preview for that game. And then, of course, moving into the Premier League again next Sunday with a home game against Aston Villa. They're just on a bit of a bad run at the moment. Could be a good time for us to play them. And I'll be previewing that game as well. Hopefully get a live show on as well. I'm looking to get an Aston Villa fan on as well, building up to the weekend to discuss that game. I'll see what we can do with that. And of course, in the meantime, stay tuned to the channel. And as always, come on, you Gunners!